This is part 2 of the series, which follows this original war diary, written by a communications officer who was part of the 71st Infantry Division. We're embedded with our author Heinze's unit as they cross the Soviet border and engage the enemy for the first time. Heinz would go on to earn the Iron Cross 2nd Class and would be awarded the Wound Badge. In addition to his diary, I'll use a situational map to put the division's positioning on the front into context. As always, I'll include rare film footage to glue it all together. And at the end of the video, I'll show a second clip from the sensational private footage from the fighting in Stalingrad, where the unit would eventually be wiped out. So stick around. It's worth it. As we showed the entire front for June 21st in part 1 of this series, here we'll show the positioning of all 3 army groups for June 22nd, the day that Barbarossa kicked off. The 71st Infantry Division spent the winter of 1940-41 training at the Königsbrück facility in Saxony, Germany. In March of 1941, it was moved to the Gouvernement region of occupied Poland, which is where the 194th Infantry Regiment, Heinz's regiment, was incorporated. There the division secured a length of 25 kilometers between the Russian and German zones of interest, defined in the Molotov-Ribbentrop non-aggressions pact. For the following 3 months, during extensive training exercises, the division became accustomed to operating with the harsh road and weather conditions characteristic of the East. It wouldn't be until May that the division's leadership would be informed about the coming campaign against the Soviet Union. For the next month, the division reconnoitered the border area, improved the roads leading up to it, and set up communications networks, the task which Heinz was primarily involved with. Secretly, the leadership was also preparing the orders of attack for each of the division's 3 infantry regiments. Sonntag, den 22.06.41. 3 Uhr ist At 300 hours we wake up and begin to march in single file through the woods. The only sounds come from the sticks breaking beneath our boots and the soft metal-on-metal clinking of our weapons and equipment. Arriving to a stake border marker, we begin to traverse along a barbed wire dividing fence. Eventually we reach an opening where one of our pioneers has cut through the barbed wire and we're able to wriggle through. Heavy underbrush blocks the way and forces us to scamper forwards on all fours. We reach a clearing which opens up to a panoramic view of a rural, somewhat hilly landscape. Behind that we see a town that a train is currently departing from. On the horizon, the sun is beginning to rise. It's a peaceful scene without a single person in sight. Along with the usual equipment, rifle, gas mask, ammunition, etc., strapped to my back is a 50-pound radio set. It's a cumbersome load. The ground is wet and soft, and our boots sink into the mud with every step, which makes moving forwards all the more difficult. We pass an excavated line of trenches that's filled with stagnant water. Our attention suddenly turns to a large group of Russian soldiers who appear walking towards us with their arms in the air. Not a shot's been fired. They're wearing dirty olive-colored uniforms, and some have their feet wrapped in layers of tattered rags. When they see that we are no threat, they smile and pass us, moving on towards the border to surrender. For them, the war is already over. For us, it is only just beginning. We make our way over the trenches and through the hedges. Climbing over the numerous obstacles is difficult under my heavy load. Since the radio man needs to keep up with the commander, I do the best I can. Suddenly, loud sounds of combat ring out, and we take cover in a cornfield. In the distance, we see that the gunfire is coming out of a farmhouse, which is then immediately fired on by a German anti-tank gun. The house's straw roof catches fire. Slowly advancing through the tall corn stalks, we are unable to actually see the enemy. Tentatively, we peek down a path that has been cut through a cornfield and see a Russian soldier about 50 meters away. We jump back, hoping to avoid being seen. Evidently spotted, a few seconds later, heavy gunfire rings out and cuts through the corn stalks around us. About 5 meters from me, our messenger falls to the ground, shot dead. He was about 18 years old. Judging by the direction of the gunfire all around us, we realize that we've advanced farther than we should have. As we try to carefully make our way back, friendly fire opens up on us from behind. The commander uses a signal flare to identify us as friendlies, and that gunfire stops. We get to an embankment. Crouched down and protected, I'm finally able to rest. The firefight, now in front of us, dies down as the Russians begin to pull out. We retrace our steps, moving forwards, and reach the outskirts of the town. Individual, terrified civilians begin to come out, walking towards us in a daze. In the cornfield, on the ground, lies an old man trying to help his wife who's been shot in the back. Bleeding profusely and no longer moving, there's nothing that can be done for her. A medic tends to the old man. And now, as promised, here's more of the private footage of the advance on Stalingrad. Heinz's war diary is for sale. If you are interested in finding out about the conditions, contact me through military1945.com. The proceeds go towards buying more originals to create these videos. If you like material created using primary historical sources like this, please remember to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Use the QR code to create a free account and check out the example exclusive footage. Thanks for watching.